so this is my 911 project car. This is a 77 911S Targa. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to drop this engine and transmission. This motor is gonna be going on this stand here, once I remove that wheel. Take out this fuel pump relay. Alright, I'm gonna remove just this Allen key. I'm not gonna take off this 13mm bolt, so that means I gotta redo everything. So one thing, when you are draining the oil on 911 is they have a ton of oil, and the drain plug is fairly big. So what I suggest is using a drain pan that's got 2 holes, or at least a bigger one. I used you know, like a round one with a single hole, and see how tiny that is? What happened was this whole thing filled up, and then it dumped like 6 quarts of oil on the floor, which was not fun at all. So hopefully this will hold it. All right, so day 2, I got the car up off the ground completely, and I drained the engine, the sump, the oil sump, and the transmission. And I was just about to start taking some of this stuff apart, but I read that I can't get the motor out of this thing unless I get the bottom edge of this reflector about 32 inches off the ground, and right now I'm at 24, so yeah, it's a bit of a difference. But I think what I'm gonna do is something I read about online. I'm not sure it's gonna work, but the idea is you put the front of the car on the ground at an angle, and I drop the engine and transmission onto this guy, which is a ATV motorcycle jack. It was on Amazon for like 120 bucks or something. Then once all that weight is not in the car and it's on that jack, then all I do is take a board and a floor jack and just jack the back of the car up and have it pivot on the front wheels, and then pull the engine and transmission out. So you can see, I don't know if you can see this, but this oil cooler pipe has some cracks in it. So if that fails, you can fuck up your motor. So it's a good thing I'm doing all this. I bet you this whole car is like this. All right, it's a few days later. I'm now armed with a 36mm wrench and a 30mm wrench, and I'm gonna try to get those bastards off there. So this is one of the oil lines. You need a 30 to hold the line and a 36 to turn the nut. Let's see how it goes. Okay, that worked. Wow. I saw this tip on the forum. Just use a wood clamp and apply pressure, and it looks like it broke it loose, so that's fucking awesome. So I'm gonna take this off.
And I wonder where you are, mysterious. That's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take
All right. I just disconnected the heater hoses. Forgot to film that. Right there. So just disconnect those, slide those off the heat exchangers. I'm gonna disconnect the starter. You can see that up there. Okay, starter is disconnected. See? No more connections. All right. Now we need the speed sensor and the reverse switch. I think that's one of them right here. With that wire. I'm not entirely sure, so I'm just gonna start disconnecting shit because I don't know what's what. All right, because I'm taking the transmission out with the engine, you're gonna have to disconnect the axles. So if you remove the wheel, you can get to the axle nuts pretty easy through the wheel well. All right, because I'm looking right at it, I think this is the reverse light switch. It sure doesn't look like a speedometer cable. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm gonna try to take that bolt off, holding this cover on, and maybe this will just pop right out. I don't know, we'll find out. This is the shift rod right there. This is the reverse switch, this little white thing. All right, let's see if I got this. All right, those are disconnected. All right, so this is the throttle linkage. This goes to the pedal. That goes up to the motor. I have to disconnect this piece right here. There we go. All right. So that should be fine. Now I think everything underneath here is done. So I have one bolt holding in both axles. I'll take those out and then I'm gonna move to the front of the car, or the back of the
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you.
All right, so this is the day I've been looking forward to be dropping this thing. Everything's disconnected. I think what I'm gonna have to do is remove this rear bumper in order to get enough clearance. I know that I'm not high enough. I know I can jack the back of the car up with a 2x4 on a jack, but I think that just removing this bumper is gonna be the smart thing to do here. So time lapse time, let's do this. I'm pretty excited.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for
All right, so pandemic update. Got this thing out of here. Let's go through this thing. So